So you said the word was.
Yeah.
Is he gone?
I don't know. I feel like I'm still Jay. People still call me Jay, so he still exists.
And who you are today, I mean, it's a compilation of what happened years ago and all those struggles, right?
Yeah, I got some problems. I got some issues.
Genuine. I think that is the perfect word to sum up eaJ from our conversations. From his days in Day 6 to carving out his own solo path, eaJ has always been about challenging the usual with his raw, authentic self. He is all about breaking down walls, whether it's genre, emotions, or expectations. We're excited to dive into his musical process, the ups and downs of being an artist, and what's next for him. Today, we are having a conversation with eaJ, the artist, and not the idol.
Well, you asked for it. Here it is. The man of many names, Chicken Little.
Okay.
J Park, eaJ Park. Are you ready for this?
I am ready.
And Brian Park.
Wow. You've done some research.
So Brian Park is a 7-year-old you, correct?
Brian Park, yes, is a very young version.
He's a very younger version of you.
Yeah.
I don't mean to get deep in the beginning of this conversation, but so who's J Park and who's eaJ Park? Are those two different versions, man?
So Jay was the person that, well, I mean, obviously J Park is me. Jay was an entity in a K-pop rock band called Day 6. And eaJ is someone who realized he lost himself and was kind of a journey to find what he loved again.
Wow. So you said the word was.
Yeah.
Is he gone?
I don't know. I feel like I'm still Jay. People still call me Jay, so he still exists. But I think I started as Jay officially when I was like 18.
Yeah.
And I feel like I went from being in college in America to going to Korea at 18. I feel like I never grew up.
Wow.
For like, until I came back.
Yeah.
So I kind of signify that age of immaturity from 18 to 29 as Jay.
Yeah.
28 maybe, yeah.
Cool. Well, you said it. You grew up in many places. There was Argentina, which you barely remember probably.
Yeah.
And then you moved to Canada, from Canada to the States.
Yes.
And then to Korea. Where's home?
I think, I mean, that's such a hard question because I feel like I spent so many of my formative years both in Long Beach, California, as well as Seoul, Korea. So I don't know, but to me right now,
home feels like where my cats are.
How many of them?
Two.
What are their names?
Peanut and Butter. PB and J.
PB and J. Are you getting a jelly sip?
I am the J.
That's really good.
I am the J.
I didn't see that coming. Well, dude, I think I've always admired what people that grew up in so many places and find their identity, because it's so difficult, especially as an Asian. I mean, being in a very Western country, sometimes you feel like you don't feel appreciated, and then when you go back to your home country, you feel like I'm too white for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was it difficult actually? Was there a phase, you said?
Yeah, there was definitely a cultural transition. And I've talked about this a few times, but it's like, I feel like before I really got to Korea and was able to like delve and understand culture, I felt like I was immature and lacking knowledge that the world is different, that there's culture that is very, very different in the world.
Yeah.
And I was in the perspective that everything is white and black. Little did I know that I went to Korea. Yeah, it's very, very colorful. And it's funny because contrary to that, I now believe that everything is gray and nothing is white and black. True. So there was a period in time, especially like morality wise or like, just like, I felt like I had learned 1 + 1 was 2 in the US while growing up until I was 18. And then I went to Korea and all of a sudden they said, oh yeah, 1 + 1 is actually 1.999999998. it's like a different answer.
Yeah.
It's like similar but different.
Yeah.
So like I remember a period of time where I felt almost like I was crazy because everyone around me had a certain set of beliefs that were different from mine. And then
Yeah.
it slowly adjusted. I was like, that's why you believe that.
And plus, you were alone out there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, what would you say growing up was like? I mean, I know you have a sister that's 10 years older than you. You
Wow.
grew up in a family that had morals, obviously, and that mindset of, you know, that hard mindset of being an Asian and also an immigrant.
Yeah.
But was it rough growing up, or was it fun and easy for you?
I don't know. I feel like there was, for me, I'm still trying to figure out if I just am a narcissist and I feel sorry for myself and try to blame someone else for everything.
Yeah.
Or if, you know, like, I feel like financially we did great. I never really like asked for much. I remember being like super not okay financially when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then my parents' business started doing better when we got to LA, and then everything was fine. But I don't know, there was definitely, with the trade-off of financial stability with the family, I think, and this might be like super privileged to say, but
Yeah.
I think there is a trade-off of like family dynamics
Yeah.
and family
Yeah,
health.
yeah. And who you are today, I mean, it's a compilation of what happened years ago and all those struggles, right?
Yeah, I got some problems. I got some issues for sure.
Dude, oops.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. There was I don't know if this is true or not, but there was actually, talking about, you know, financial stability, there was actually an option for you to be in a world of financial stability. You had a job of being a consultant, correct?
Not a consultant, but I worked, my first job ever, I worked as an intern at a nonprofit called Life Rolls On.
Okay.
And then like the whole trajectory that I was thinking was, I was a poli-sci major. And then I went to college ignorantly thinking that I could just join the UN because I loved it.
Yeah.
But turns out you have to be born in the US to do that.
Really?
So-
Is that?
Apparently.
Okay.
Apparently. And that's when my dreams ended. And from there, I wanted to be a lobbyist. So I was in
Wow.
college for that. And then one day I got an email from it was a really sus email. It was like, it had no like CC.
No
Had
subject. Was there a subject?
I don't, there was a subject, but it wasn't like very like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It didn't
yeah.
look like a work professional email.
Okay.
It looked like kind of almost like spam. And they were like, come to this audition. We saw your YouTube. We think
Yeah.
you are capable. And I was like, this is,
You were like, 이거야 뭐야?
yeah. Wait, you speak Korean?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, fine. But yeah, I was a little sussed out, but I went, and then I remember my first audition was in front of Boa.
Boa.
She's like this huge icon
Okay.
who I grew up
Idolize
under.
and everything.
Yeah, so that was a whole crazy trip from like this sus email to being in front
Wow.
of this world star. Like
Your life changed. Well,
really
not technically straight away, but
kind of though.
Kind
It
of.
kind of did overnight.
Okay.
Because like before then, I always wanted to, you know, I was really big on like the United Nations,
Yeah.
and at that time there was a Korean Secretary General, and
Of course,
like,
yeah.
I don't know. I always, this is a really bad way of putting it, but my immature self has said this so many times in interviews. I don't think anyone's gonna be surprised. I wanted to argue for a living.